Well, people, the early prelims of the pay-per-view just got a little bit bigger, right? All thanks to the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah, because I originally looked and there were three. And then suddenly two more appeared. I was like, yo, what's got... Oh, of course. Right, so we start off with the flyweights, right? We have got Alibi Idiris against Joseph Morales. Okay, so Morales, aka Boppo, I'm assuming that's how you say it, right? He is 30, 5'6", 68-inch reach. He's got a 12-2 record and currently on a 3-fight win streak, right? Not included his run through the Ultimate Fighter house. He went 1-2 in the UFC, right? His last fight in the UFC was 2018. His two losses were, the first was to Davidson Figueiredo, right? I mean, come on. And then Eric Shelton. And Eric Shelton was a good fighter. He was on the Demetrius Johnson season of The Ultimate Fighter when they brought in the flyweight to challenge him, and then the winner would challenge him for the title. That eventually being Tim Elliott, right? So yeah, those were his two losses. He then, went to Cage Warriors actually in England, and he got a couple of wins. Went to Uriah Faber's promotion, won the belt, and then he got back onto the Ultimate Fighter. So yeah, I mean, Morales is well-rounded. You know what I mean? Well-rounded. He's won by strikes. He's won by submissions. He is going up against Alibi Idiris. Now, they do not have his age, rate or reach on Tapology, and I forget what they said on the Ultimate Fighter. He's 5'6". Okay, and he's currently on a 10-fight win streak. Yeah, he's undefeated. Undefeated, people. You know what I mean? Now, that is very much on the promotion he's in. You know what I mean? Like, you can go, it's like early boxers. A lot of times they will put them against journeymen who don't have punching power or are good at one thing, right? To get that experience and the miles and all of that kind of thing. And when you're on some of these smaller promotions, these regional affairs, sometimes it's just not the best fighters. So you can pull off huge win runs and you can get spectacular knockouts and subs because these people have been punched so many times they have no more, chin, or their jiu-jitsu is terrible, right? But he was very good on the Ultimate Fighter. Very good on the Ultimate Fighter. So yes, he's 10-0, but it does look like his skill set can back that up. That is why, people, I am picking Idiris for the win. Okay, so we then go to the welterweight. We have Rodrigo Sezinando against Daniil Donchenko. Okay, and this one's gonna be fun, right? So Donchenko, he is 24, 5'11", don't have his reach listed. Right, he's 11-2, currently on a 4-fight win streak. And he fought in one time. He actually fought in the same promotion as Idris Alibi. All right. Yeah. So, and it looks like he's the welterweight champ of that promotion. So his last few fights, right? He had knockout, he had submissions, and he went the distance. So, he's got the skills. And boy, on the Ultimate Fighter, oh man, he froze. He is ready to go to war, which is impressive, right? Now, Rodrigo Sezinando, he is 8-1, also on a 4-fight win streak, right? Fighting out of Nova Unao. And, he's also looks like he won the championship in his last fight in the regional promotion he was in. Won by strikes, first round stoppage, and he's got subs, he's got stoppages, a very similar thing. Now, he isn't as, I guess, frenetic as Donchenko, Rodrigo is a little bit more measured. He's good, but I don't think he necessarily likes to get hit. And obviously, no one wants to get hit, but those fighters that you hit them and they're just like, oh, fuck, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you just friggin' recharge them or something. I don't think Rodrigo is that person, but Daniil is. You know what I mean? So I'm picking Daniil to get the win because Daniil's a fucking wrecking ball. And so, yeah, I am looking forward to that one. All right, so now we have our... Oh, I was going to say our soul, but no, I'd be wrong. We have 2 women's fights on the card, and the first one is the flyweights. We have Karine Silva against Dione Barboza. All right, so... Karine Killer Silva. She's 31, 5'5", 67-inch reach. Now, she's coming off a loss in her last fight, which was, it was all the way back in November 2024. She lost to Viviane Araújo, right? Now, that was her first loss. She's 4-1 in the UFC, came via the Contender Series. And she, she's looked good, right? She's got a knee bar. She's got a guillotine. A DOS, right? She got a guillotine on the Contender Series to get that contract. So she's very good on the ground. It was just a bit of a lackluster affair against Araújo, if I remember correctly. Now, the book... Oh, no. The witch, right? Dione Barboza. She's 33, 5'6", 66.5-inch reach. And she looked really good last time out, right? She's 2-1 in the UFC, coming off a win. And she also came via the Contender Series. She, got an arm triangle first round against Diana Belbetta, right? That was in April. And we picked Barbosa for the win. So we were very happy about that. And it was, she looked so impressive. You know what I mean? She really did. And I think it's the confidence, I think it's putting it all together, and it looks like that's what Barbosa has done. She bounced back from that Miranda Maverick loss, and she's looking very good. So I'm picking Barbosa to get the win. So we then jump to the middleweights, right? And we have got Bryan battle against Nursulton Ruziboev. This should be fun, right? This should be a fun fight. I imagine. You know, the Butcher. Yeah, because Pooh Boy was a terrible nickname. You know, he is 12-2, won no contest, and he's on a 4-fight win streak. You know what I mean? Which is all good. Battle is 7-1 in the UFC. Came via the Ultimate Fighter. Last time out, he beat Randy Brown. It was a bit of a swirly one. He missed weight, right? It was a split decision. I don't know. I think I had Brown winning it. It was very contentious, you know. But it was a win. You know, that was December 2024. And he stopped Kevin Juzet in the second round. Before that, there was the no contest with Angelosa from an eye poke, right? He stopped AJ Fletcher with a rear naked, knocked out Gabe Green. So yeah, I mean, he'd been really, doing his thing, right? He won the Ultimate Fighter. He beat Tresson Gore, right, in his next fight. Now, he did lose to Ranat Fakhradimov, but he bounced back well. So, he is facing Nursulton Ruziboev, aka Black, right, who is 31, 6'5", 76-inch reach. And he's got a record, it's like, man, it's crazy, 36, 9 and 2 with 2 no contests. This dude has fought. You know what I mean? He has got fights, which, I mean, that's experience, right? But it also is, you have taken shots, right? You've got more wear and tear. Your chin could be closer to being over, right? I think some of that is also Sambo and other things. It's not all MMA, right? He is 4-1 in the UFC. He went to a decision against Dustin Stolstoff last time out. That was in May this year. In February, he knocked out Eric McConaughey in the second round, right? And that was all bouncing back after a loss to Joaquin Buckley, which went the distance, you know. He won his first 2 UFC fights. Bruno Ferreira, first round, and Sojikris Dumas, first round. So, hey, he's got power. He has got power. Now, he does have a couple of subs outside the UFC. Armbar, Kimura, right? A couple of Kimuras, actually. I don't know, man. I think it's close. I think it's interesting. I am taking, though, the Butcher, right? I think the Butcher's going to carve up a win. Yes. Sorry. I had to, people. I had to. So then we end the early prelims with the lightweight. We have Edson Barboza against Drakkar Klose. And man, Drakkar Klose, right? He's 37, 5'9", 70-inch reach. He's got a 15-3-1 record, coming off a loss, right? But he's 9-3 in the UFC, right? That's a good record. You know what I mean? But we just don't see him often. That's the thing with Klose. So you forget how good he is, you know? Last time out, he did lose in the first round to Joel Alvarez, but Joel Alvarez is very good. He's one of these young guns coming through. So, you know, No shame, people. No shame. Right, before that, he beat Joaquim Silva. He beat Joe Selecki with a slam. I think that was on the card where we had 2 slams back to back. I think, right? I might be wrong, but if I do remember, that's what happened that night. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, people, it is very hard to remember what went down. Let me just have a quick little look, because I think it was, but you know how these things are, people. Yes, it was that one, and then he got the first one, and then Cody Brundage slammed Zach Reese straight afterwards. Yep, I mean, it was freaking crazy. It was such a crazy night, because Elijah Smith, those slams reminded me of Elijah Smith when I saw that last weekend, right? Where was I? So you got a slam knockout, Drakkar Klose. So yeah, Drakkar Klose, he's good, man. But yeah, sometimes he only fights once a year, and that's the problem. We forget about Drakkar Klose. Now he is going up against Edson Jr. Barbosa. 39, 5'11", 75-inch reach. He's got a 24-12 record, coming off a loss, right? And the loss is to someone in the co-main event, right? He's got an 18-12 in the UFC. So yeah, that loss was to Lucky Lerone Murphy. Sorry, Lerone. That was May 2024. I think that was in Abu Dhabi, right? I think that's where that was. And boy, that was a good fight. Murphy really turned it on, right? Before that fight, he had that great war with Sadiq Youssef, right? Beat Billy Quarantillo. Before that, and that was bouncing back after back-to-back losses to Giga Kadesi and Bryce Mitchell. So Edson Barboza is that dude, right? That you thought was so good, but just was never able to get over that hump to win the title. Right? Like, he'd go on those runs and you'd be like, oh my God, Edson Barboza. And then he would just lose. He'd get to that point and then he'd just lose. It's one of those with Barboza, right? Which is it's always a shame, but he's had those memorable wins, right? That wheel kick to Terry Etam, which was just ferocious. The stoppage of Evan Dunham, just those, like, he had those wars with Paul Felder. He's had some really good wins. The flying knee of Beneil Dariush, you know what I mean? Stopped Dan Hooker with a body shot, right? And look at Dan Hooker now. So Edson Barboza has been... That fight he had with Shane Burgos, right? When he hit... And it was back and forth. And then he hit Burgos. And Burgos had that weird, like, delayed action knockout that was so bizarre. You know what I mean? Edson has been in fights. He's been in fights and he's been in wars. But that is... the rub, right? Edson has been in wars. And I think those wars take a little bit of your soul every time. You don't come back the same. And I think because of that, he'll never get to that point, right? He will never get to that title, unfortunately for Barboza. But saying all of that, I think he still has enough to beat Drakkar Klose. You know, the frequency he fights, just the caliber he fights. I think Barboza takes the win, and but I think we get a great fight to lead us into the prelims proper.